This video, we're going to talk a little bit about men and friendships. When I was growing up, I had a best friend. I lived up at 14, he lived at 42. And I would wind up at his house all the time. We would do all kinds of things together. I had sleepovers with him, we'd ride bikes, we would be at each other's houses for dinners. He had an in-ground pool, I had an above-ground pool. And so we would really be, during the summer, be around his house watching movies, eating snacks, ordering pizza, and actually playing the world's longest game of Payday. If you know the game, you'll know what I mean. But the world's longest game of Payday we would do, and spend time in his pool, and we would just always be spending time together. And once we got into high school, things changed a little bit. We had a bigger group of friends, but we were still friends. We still spent time together. And as a matter of fact, he and I, in our senior year of high school, played brothers in our school play, which was really a lot of fun because I had known him for so long. But then really once I went to college and beyond, I generally lost touch with him. And it was great. About 2 years ago, we reconnected and we were able to sit down for a while and just get caught up. And it was so great because of this guy who had had such an influence in my own life, really up until the time I left home for college, and was really influential to me. It wasn't that I didn't have other friends at that time, but he was just the one that I spent the time with. He was the one I gravitated towards. Even though our families were different, even though there were different things going on, we just really got along and supported each other. And I was very grateful for that period of time where I had him. So maybe a question to ask is, do we even need friends? Especially in today's day and age, the way that everything's online, the way that we're able to do so much by never leaving home, do we need friends? And believe it or not, if people who know me laugh at this when I say this, I'm a bit of an introvert. I happily will spend time by myself. I like to go on drives, I'll go to movies, I'll go on vacation, I'll go out to eat. I definitely have my times where I want to be by myself, and I'm perfectly happy doing that. And in some ways, there's times I could argue that I don't need friends. But then I do any one of those activities with another person, with a friend, and I realize how much better it was. It's good by myself, but it was better with somebody else. And I think the question is to ask why. We can all agree that shared experiences in general are better than solo experiences. It's somebody to share it with, to enjoy it with, to laugh with, to cry with, to discuss it with, right? When I've been out with people and I've done things with people, it's something we can discuss for the next couple of years. My friend Henry and I go out and do all kinds of different things. We take lots of pictures, and it's fun when we get together and we talk about some of the dumb things that we did together. Last year, I had the opportunity to go out to Arizona for a few days each time, but about 2 weeks apart. So the first time I went out, I was by myself, and there was some work I had to do while I was out there, and I was able to do my work and then get some time to really explore Arizona, which is amazing, and I hope to go back. The second time I went out, it worked out that I could bring my friend Henry with me. And we wound up doing some of the very things that I did a few weeks prior, but it was so much more fun when I had Henry with me. We were able to see Saguaro National Park, Mescal movie set, Old Tucson Studios. And we both like some of those older movies and older shows, so it was just so much more fun to be able to do that with him and share that experience with him, have somebody to eat meals with. And that's something that we'll cherish because we have that as a shared experience. I think, too, we can kind of have this idealized look at what friendships are. Friendships aren't going to be perfect because we're not perfect. So there's times, and I think of specifically with Henry, that we don't always agree. We don't always get along. There are times things don't click with us all the time, but we're willing to work on a relationship and move forward because we realize that our relationship is much more important than our disagreements. A good question to ask too is, are all friendships the same? I think we can have that impression that we're going to treat everybody the same way, they're going to treat us the same way. And the answer is no. Not all friendships are the same. I think especially for men, the most common friendships that we have out there tend to be superficial. That's how we can relate. We are task-oriented. We will spend time with people, but we don't necessarily go deep, right? And I've shared before that I would go out with somebody, I'd come in, and my wife would say to me, "Oh, so how is he?" And I'd go, "I don't know." "Well, didn't you talk to him?" "I talked to him." Well, didn't this come up? No, I never asked them. Right? That's kind of how our relationships are. And that's why men and women's friendships are very different. For a lot of those friends, the superficial friends, we will spend time together, but there's no real investment. There's no real choice to go deeper into those relationships. They're great and we need them, but it is just at a different level of friendship. And as I mentioned, these different circles of friends, you can have a lot of friends that are kind of in that first circle, the superficial circle. When you kind of come in a little bit, you're going to get less friends that are in these next circles just because we're not going to open up to as many people as deeply. So these circles are getting a little bit smaller till we get down to the last few friends that you have. The next circle of friends are like those guys you would actually invest some time with. Go on a camping trip, go on a football game. You get to know their lives a little bit. You get to spend some time with them. You maybe start on a deeper relationship with them. You get to know them well, but it's now you're still holding back. You're not getting that much closer. You're keeping them a little bit of a distance, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The next group of friends then should be where things start to get a little bit more real. These are the friends that you start to be really vulnerable with, and they're vulnerable with you. You have more shared experiences. You have times where you will help each other out. You will get involved in each other's lives and you will invest in each other, right? That level of vulnerability that's there where you're opening up. You're opening up to these guys. I have a few close friends that I can say fit that category, that I am vulnerable with, they know me well, and I'm willing to be open with. I think finally then, we get down to those one or two really close friends that we share everything with. I had mentioned Henry. He's probably the person that I have shared everything with, knows most about me. He and I have supported each other. We have shared a lot together. We've rejoiced with each other. We've cried with each other. We've been there for each other. And even after we get to know each other well, we still like each other and want to hang around together, which is great though. I don't have a biological brother, but I would consider him the closest thing I have to a biological brother, where we get that time together. We've made that investment in each other's lives so that we can really support each other. And, we're there for each other. We know each other's lives. We're going to stand up for each other. We're going to defend each other. And we're just really going to be there to be a real good, true friend. So the question I asked in the beginning was, do we need friends? And hopefully you would see yes. The answer is yes. But you don't need 5,000 friends. And I would argue that people that you just have acquaintances with online may not even be in the zone of being a friend. That if that's the only time you relate with them, sure, you can see family photos and things like that, but I don't think that that's real friendship. I think friendship takes some level of investment, some level of time, takes some level of vulnerability, even in those outer circles. So we may feel like we've got a lot of contacts. We might feel like, wow, there's a lot going on. And at the same time, we might feel a little lonely or empty because there's nobody out there that we're opening up to. There's nobody that we're getting close to. And I think it's a really good opportunity to look at, am I living my life basically online and not getting out there and trying to spend time with my friends? And to be a good friend takes sacrifice. It takes time. It takes effort. Everything good in life takes work and effort. So we have to look at that, and I think it's a good time to assess, where are we with our friends? Do I need better friends? Do I have good friends? And in order to find those friends, there's things you have to do. You have to work a little bit. You need to look at, where can I go? What kind of shared experiences can I get with people, whether it's in a church or a sporting group or things like that. So yes, we absolutely need friends. All of us do. We all need to be supported in some way. And hopefully this gives you the opportunity to assess where you are with your friends, to see where you are, and maybe to hopefully increase the quality of the friends that you have. I have 4 children. I'm very grateful that my children have high standards for their friends and their relationships. So you can say, well, doesn't that hold people out? Yeah, it does. the people that they don't hold to that standard. High standards are really good. That's what we need for our friendships. We need to have a high standard of what we're looking like in a friend and what we're willing to give as a friend. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I do read all the comments. I want to hear what you have to say. Tell me where I messed up. Tell me if I said something good, and give me ideas for future videos. Thanks very much.